All right. Good morning. My name is Randy An. You can call me Alex. My presentation topic is introduce an African country, which is named Zimbabwe. I will introduce this section about this country. This section includes summary, geography, history, economy, and some social issues. Zimbabwe, official name Republic of Zimbabwe, formerly named Southern Rhodesia, Zimbabwe Rhodesia. It shared a 200 kilometers border on the Southwestern Republic of South Africa, and it's bounded on the southwest and west by Botswana, on the north by Zambia, and on the northeast and the east by Mozambique. Zimbabwe was established as an independent country on April 18 in 1980, with an area of 390,000 square kilometers. Its economy is also the poorest in the world. The largest city and the capital is Harare. Zimbabwe is a landlocked country in southern Africa. Most of the country is elevated, consisting of a central plateau, Mount Nyagani as the highest point at the 2,500 meters. Zimbabwe has a subtropical climate with many local variations. The southern area are known of their heat and aridity, while the parts of the central plateau receive frost in winter. The composition of Zimbabwe's population has changed dramatically since the establishment of the country. At the time of independence, the total population was 6.9 million, of which about 300,000 are the white ruling class. However, after the reform policy, the current white population has continued to decline. There are only a few of them still stay in Zimbabwe. Due to the high birth rate of blacks, the population of Zimbabwe has increased to 14 million. Blacks have accounted for more than 99% of the total population. Zimbabwe's ethnic and linguistic diversity is reflected in the 2013 constitution, which gives official status to 16 languages, which include English and so on. A small country, including 16 official language, is so horrible. The British South Africa Company of Cecil Rhodes demarcated the Rhodesia region in 1890 when they conquered Mashonaland. Company rule ended in 1923 with the establishment of Southern Rhodesia as a self-governing British colony. In 1965, the white minority governments declared independence as Rhodesia. In 1890 to 1980 was the period of colonial rule in the history of Zimbabwe, and it was ruled by white people. From 1960, Rhodesia, led by Ian Smith, received aid from the South Africa and resisted the communist guerrillas. After the overthrow of the white minority rule in April 1980, Zimbabwe declared independence from British rule. Zimbabwe declared independence in 1970, but has not received international recognition. After several years of civil war, the local white government signed a protocol with various black forces, including the Zimbabwe African National Union and the Zimbabwe African People's Union, to end the civil war. In 1980, Zimbabwe held its first democratic elections. Robert Mugabe and his party came to power. After the successful transfer of national power to the black governments, the Republic of Zimbabwe officially became independent on April 18 in 1980. After that, Mugabe won the several continued elections until he stepped down after the military coup in 2017. Today, Zimbabwe mainly imports food from foreign countries and provides foreign labor to South Africa in exchange for goods in response to the economic difficulty that the country has encountered since the end of the 20th century. Zimbabwe stopped using Zimbabwe dollars and switched to use foreign currencies such as the US dollar, euros, RMB, South African rands, Botswana pula. Zimbabwe's national government has been transferred to blacks since independence, but Mugabe confiscated the land of white Europeans through the violence. Since 2000, the Zimbabwe government has carried out a land reform on the grounds that the land owned by the whites was illegally obtained from Black indigenous residents during the colonial era, and most of the land owned by whites was forcibly confiscated. This move caused many white farmers leave Zimbabwe. Food production was greatly reduced and the economy fell into the chaos. In 2002, Mugabe was re-elected. The IMF accused Mugabe of cheating in the election and suspended economic aid. The government responded by printing a large amount of new money to fill the fiscal deficit, which led to severe inflation and currency devaluation. Zimbabwe's official inflation rate in 2007 was as high as 26,000%, but the real figure may be more higher. Okay, thanks for watching. Any questions? No question. Small country, no question. Okay.
Hello everyone, my name is He Yan Liang. Today I will introduce a country called Egypt, which is a Middle East country, and I would like to introduce the country with its culture, economics, history, and then the military. Yeah, so Egypt is a country officially called Arabic Republic of Egypt. It's a transcontinental country and in the northeast corner of Africa and the southwest corner of the Asia. We are very large land bridge formed by the Sinai Peninsula. This country is in the Gulf of Aqaba is in the northeast, separates Egypt from Jordan and Saudi Arabia. There are many, there are really long history, more than 3,000 years, that from ruling from Christian and then Muslim. Egypt has one of the longest histories in any country that can trace back to 6th and 4th millennia BCE, considered the cradle of the civilization. Ancient Egypt saw some of the earliest development of writing system, agriculture, and other architecture products. There are many kings, more than 300 kings in Egypt, and ruled the country from the Christianity, but was largely Islam in the 7th century and remained until now. Modern Egypt can trace back to 1922, when it gained independence from the from Britain. And then in 1958, it merged from the Syria and then reformed the country named United Arabic Republic, which is dissolved in 1961. And after that, the Islam is the official religion in Egypt right now, and Arabic is official language. It's the Greek. About 90% people have the religion with Muslim Sunni. Egypt is considered to be the religion power in North Africa, and then it has a strong military and GDP that is the 41st largest nominal GDP, and then the 20th largest global GDP by person, on person average. So with the name, the English name Egypt is derived from the ancient Greek, which is a early Greek letter linear B tables. The history of Egypt is we can divide the history with ancient Egypt, and then Ptolemaic and Roman Egypt, and then Middle Age and Ottoman Egypt. So, and we can divide this basically on the first intermediate age, and then the second intermediate age between the ancient. So after ancient Egypt into the medium Egypt, we called it the first intermediation. And then there are evidence of the rock caves along the Nile terraces and the desert oases in the 10th millennium BCE. A culture of hunter gathered and fishers was replaced by a grain grading culture. And about 6000 BCE, a Neolithic culture took root in the Nile Valley. During this time, several cultures developed independent in the upper and lower Egypt. So Egypt is basically divided in the the north side and the lower south side. And the Badarian culture and the successor Nakhota series are generally regarded precursors to dynastic Egypt. And during the Mid Ages of Egypt, the Byzantines was able to regain the control of the country after Sassanid Persian invasion early in 7th century. Amidst the Byzantine-Sassanid War from 602 years to 628, during which they established the new short-lived province for 10 years known as Sasanian Egypt until year 639. When the Egypt was invented and conquered by the Islam at that time. And now I would like to introduce the government of the of this country. So I would like to introduce the military and the laws with other country. The military and foreign relationships. Egypt have a really strong relationship with America and China, and is influential in political and economic life for Egypt people, which is called the deep state. Egypt is the second country in the spy satellite and called Egypt state. The United States provides that Egypt with annual military assistance. In 2015, the total amount is 1.3 billion US dollar. In 1989, Egypt was designed as a major non-NATO ally of the United States, but they have the economic relation with each other. Nevertheless, the ties between two countries have partially solved since in 2013. Also, the free speech is listed in number 116 around the world, and the law system is based on the Islam and civil law. Yeah. The economic of this country is made of the three parts mainly. So the first is on the agriculture, media, and the natural gas, because there is a very low rain level around the year for Egypt. So they use water exported from other places instead of rainwater. And also they provide the natural gas, which is they export the natural gas around the world for the development of the economics. Yeah. And the culture. So I would like to talk about the language they use. So mostly they use the Arabic, different version of Arabic for official language. Also, their religion is Muslim, and the education is a European style education system, was first introduced in Egypt by Ottomans. Yeah. They have the different drawing arts and writing system from the beginning of their culture started. Yeah, thank you.
Hi, my name is Junbo Ho. Today I want to give you a brief introduction about the country of Italy. Before knowing its culture, we need to know where it is. Republic of Italy is a country in southern and western Europe, located in the middle of Mediterranean Sea. It consists of a peninsula delimited by the Alps and surrounded by several islands. It also enclaved microstates of Vatican City and San Marino. Italy has a population about 60 million and is the third most populous member state of the European Union. Italy's capital city and the largest city is Rome. The Latins, who are the natives of central Italy, formed the Roman kingdom in the 8th century BC. By the 1st century BC, the Roman Empire emerged as the dominant power in the Mediterranean basin, and it became a leading cultural, political, and religious center. Now I want to tell you the meaning of Italian national flag. There are three colors in Italian national flag, which are green, white, and red. The green color is from the uniform of Milanese Civic Guard, and the design of the flag comes from the French Revolutionary flag brought by Napoleon in its 1796 campaign in northern Italy. Yeah. And the red and white color are from the flag of the city of Milan. Now I want to tell you something about language in Italy. So the national language in Italy is Italian. And Italian is the most common shared language spoken by people. 93% of Italian speakers are native speakers. Considering an overall of the Italian dialects, the Italian linguistic heritage is one of the richest and varied in Europe. The dialects can be divided into three groups: northern dialects, Tuscan and central dialects, and southern and extreme southern dialects. There are also many foreign languages spoken in Italy, such as English is at about 35%, and French and Spanish, Greek, and other regional languages. Now we are moving to the national dish of Italy. Italy is a country that's full of delicious food, and ragu alla bolognese is commonly known around the world as spaghetti bolognese. In its authentic form, it is recognized as the national dish of Italy. Its origin can be tracked back to Imola, a town near the city of Bologna, where a recipe was first recorded in the 18th century. As shown on the slide, other popular food includes pizza, pasta, and lasagna. Now we're moving on to national dress of Italy. Italy is a country. The national Italian costume has many interpretations, and actually every region has its own costumes. The basis of the female national costume is a pleated skirt called gonna, a white shirt, camicia, and the corsage. The costume was complemented by a bright apron and a headscarf called fazzoletto. These are the main elements of a woman's Italian costume, found in all regions of the country. The male national costume is much simpler than the female one. It consisted of trousers below the knee and a white skirt. The image was complemented by a short or sleeveless jacket. The head is covered with a wooden hat or cap. Now we're moving on to music. Italy has a lively tradition of music and dance stemming from folk traditions, many of which are based on older forms adopted from neighboring countries or invading countries. Again, regional differences create a lot of variety. So you can find Italian folk music with Celtic, Spanish, and even Arabic influences. Performers of Italian folk music used old-fashioned instruments like simple flutes and even a bagpipe-like instrument called piva. The most famous Italian dance is Tarantella. This differs from the wedding dance we mentioned on the first page. On the last page, here a solo performer dances vigorously to a quick, upbeating song, supposedly to sweat out the poison of the deadly tarantula. The dance could last for hours and is quasi-religious in nature. Now we're moving on to the National Day of Italy. Festa della Repubblica is the Italian form of Republic Day. It is celebrated on the 2nd of June each year. The main celebration is taking place in Rome. The Festa della Repubblica is one of the national symbols of Italy. There are many activities involved on the day, such as flag raising ceremony, a parade, musical performances, and changing of the guard. Next, let me introduce some iconic products from Italy. The first picture we can see is Vespa. This is the motorcycle we can see in many European movies. The second is the car industry. There are so many famous car brands from Italy, such as Lamborghini and Alfa Romeo. And the food is very famous too. Gelato and pizza and tiramisu, all kinds of food are from Italy. And the last is arts. The Italian artists are superior in the history of arts. They have contributed so much to the history to the arts history. Famous Italian artists such as Leonardo Da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Raphael. They are all very good artists. And the last part is Italians in Australia. Italians are the sixth largest ancestry group in Australia. There are more than 1 million people 1 million people living in Australia, which takes up to 4.4% of the total Australian population. And actually, Italians in Australia has a rich history. The first Italians have been arriving in Australia since before the first fleet of Captain Cook in 1770s. And most Australian residents born in Italy are now concentrated in Melbourne, Victoria. And from the data of Italian embassies, there are 2/5 of its immigrants to Australia were from the Veneto, and another 2/5 were drawn from the Piedmont, Lombardy, and Tuscany regions, and 1/5 were from Sicily and Calabria regions. At the 2022 federal election, Anthony Albanese was elected, becoming Australia's first Prime Minister of Italian descent. Okay, this is my presentation about Italy. Thank you very much.